Hello! I am so excited. I'm going to do a little mini 3D makeup class live right here today, and I hope you can join me. If you do hop on, make sure you say hi and give me a little wave and hello, hi guys. Okay, so I'm really excited just to kind of get back into the groove. It's a new month. It's the beginning of a new year. It's the beginning of a new week. So I thought I would do just a little mini 3D makeup class really quick and show you how you can use this makeup in a lot of different ways. But hi Tina, I'm going to use it today showing you how you can get a little bit better coverage. You can still, this makeup is still so great for just sitting on top of your skin. You can get a very natural look and no makeup look. But a lot of times, a lot of us want a bit more full coverage look. And so I'm going to do that. And how we're going to get that is by switching up our brushes, okay? And that makes a big difference. So the more dense your brushes are, the more makeup it picks up. So this happens to be the Buff brush, and it's a very dense brush. You can see really cool brush. And of course, this is the detail brush. I like this one for contouring and getting into smaller areas. So we're going to just jump right in. If you have questions as we go along, make sure you ask them and reach out to me too at any time. If you are fascinated by this makeup and you want to know more, just message me when we're done here and I can help you with some more information on this makeup. So if we haven't met before, my name's Karen. I'm so glad you're here. And I'm going to show you how I use my cream 3D highlight and contour makeup. So the first thing I'm going to do is get this hair out of my face so that I can show you my lovely areas that I might need a little bit of extra coverage, okay? So like sunspots and age spots, maybe under eye discoloration, moles, redness, scars, all those fun things that we deal with. So I'm going to start here with my 3D palette, and I'm going to pick up the small end of this denser brush called the Buff brush, and I'm going to start out here with this shade. This is my darkest highlight shade, or I should say my warmest, and it is called Mango for those of you who want to know the name. And I'm going to use this first in areas where I have the sunspots, like this really big guy here, and pressing and kind of tapping a little bit of that Mango on. Now, if you have a lot of us have sun damage or melasma right here on our cheek area, and that hits right where we're trying to contour. So by doing a little bit of color correcting ahead of time, that will help when you go to put your contour. Now, I'm going to add some Mango underneath my eyes and on my eyelids. I really like doing this. Now, you can use this side of the brush to do that, or you can switch over and use the smaller detail brush, because then you can kind of get into the smaller areas. And so I'm just very lightly feathering, kind of applying that color around my eyes just for a little extra coverage and to kind of help neutralize a lot of that, those darker eyelids. They get a lot of melasma and a lot of coloring there. So I can kind of keep going. I'm just kind of looking around on the face wherever I might need a little extra coverage. Usually up here, there's a big sunspot. If I was really red today, and I am on my nose, I'm going to add a little bit of that color corrector kind of around my nose area. So anywhere that you need a little extra coverage, you can start by doing just a bit of that first. Here on my chin as well, all sorts of problems, girls, broken capillaries, sunspots, age spots, right? That's okay. That's all right. Okay. But as you can see, I didn't layer a lot. Now this looks a little different coloration, but I'm going to go ahead and apply the rest of my foundation, my 3D foundation and my contour kind of over and around it. So I think you'll see that it'll all blend together really nicely. So here now, after I've done that, I'm going to skip over and I'm going to go ahead and contour. So I like to contour in 3 places: up on my forehead, underneath my cheekbones, and along my jawline to define my jaw from my jowls and my, the double chin. Okay, so forehead. Now, if you have a taller forehead or a wider face, adding contour up here is going to help bring a shadow. So I'm going to take this brush. This is the detail brush. Now, the contours have a little bit different consistency. They're not as creamy. And what's nice about that is that they go on differently as well, because you want them to just lay up here and add a shadow right up underneath. So I'm applying my contour shade up here. Now I can bring that down. I have a 4-finger forehead, but kind of bringing that contour down about 2 fingers, it's hopefully drawing your eye down to my eyes. So now I've got like about a 2-finger forehead, right? If you have a wider face, let's say your face is wider and you want to narrow that, then bring your contour down along the temples there. Just bring it over like this, okay? And the other nice thing about the contour is that it actually provides coverage as well. So it's going to end up really being part of the overall foundation. So that's really a nice thing. So you're not having to layer liquid makeup up here on your forehead and then contour and then other things on top. This is only going to be the thing I put up here in this area. So I like that. I like that. Okay, so the next place we want to contour is underneath our cheekbones. And so this is a great brush for that. You can kind of side load it. Just kind of brush it and tap it. And you want to come out here and feel for your cheekbone, kind of at the top of your ear. And I like to contour because I want to give my face a bit of a lift, the type of the face shape I have. So I will take and I will press that contour right up under my cheekbone, almost like in a little bit of a swoosh. Now, if I get too much or I get kind of out of control, not a big deal, because we're going to blend it. You can blend up like this. And really, we don't want to completely blend our contour away, because we still want that shadow to show. So sometimes a lot of us are afraid of the contour. You put it on and you're like, oh my gosh, that's way too dark. Well, we're still going to do some blending. And right now I'm kind of doing a little bit of pre-blending. And you can see why I had to add some of that color corrector right in that area, which is such a bummer because that sunspot is right there. But that's okay. My hair covers part of it and it's part of my face. So we just have to deal with it, right? Okay. So contour up on your forehead, underneath your cheekbones, and then we're going to bring that down along our jawline. So it's like the number 3 or a backwards 3 or a letter E, right? Depends on how you're looking. So we're going to load this brush again with some contour, and I like to see I've got these little divots that already kind of add a shadow right here on my chin. So I like to bring my contour kind of from here to here. Now we're not going to go with contour along the side of our face. We're actually going to bring it right along the jawline here. So if you just kind of come right like here and just brush that along like that. And then you can pull some of that contour down your neck. And we will, again, when we're done, we're going to be blending. Okay, so see how that adds that natural shadow and kind of helps define my lovely chin line, jawline, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And we will blend a little bit as well. So hello, my name's Karen. If you just hopped on, and I'm doing a little mini highlight and contour class right now with my 3D foundation. And if you have questions, please ask them. I will try to go through and answer them at the end, or I'll even flip back through. And also just feel free to message me too. If you're shy and you just want to ask me, then that's perfectly fine. All right, so we just contoured on our forehead, underneath our cheekbones, along our jawline, pulling that down. Now, you can also contour your nose. I'm usually like going 100 miles an hour and I just don't bother with it, but you sure can. You can just kind of add a bit of contour right along the outside of that, right here along your nose, and then leaving the center open, and you can pull it up a bit, but I'm going to skip that because I just want to keep it really simple here for us. All right, so now the next thing I'm going to do is go in with my main my main shade. So by having 3 highlights, or what you might call foundations, I've got my color corrector, kind of, I call it like a camouflage shade. This is my main foundation or highlight shade. Again, these are all called highlights, so you know, we can't call them foundations. That'd be too easy. So this is my main shade, and then this is like a brightener or kind of a little accent or pop shade. Now, you may call this one a concealer because it's that light shade that you put underneath your eyes, but I'm going to show you a little different way to think about your under eye as we age. So I'm going to flip over to the big side of this denser brush because we're doing a little bit more of a full coverage. Now, when you use this makeup, we're not going to swipe it in. We're not going to push hard because you really don't need that much makeup. It's very pigmented, and it is going to provide really great coverage by just tapping just a bit, and then when you come onto your face, you're going to kind of do the same thing. Kind of like a stippling or a tapping motion, a little feathering. So I'm just tap, tap. That's all I'm putting on there. And then looking at your face and just coming in and applying. And I'm also kind of blending as I go. So as you can see, I'm not reloading, but I'm still kind of moving this brush around on my face. What's great about that is as the makeup sits on your face and warms up a bit, it'll just keep blending even better. So I'm just adding. So I'm going to go ahead and let's go through and add some of my main shade. Now, for those of you who want to know the shade names, now they're going to be different. My shades are going to be different than yours, possibly they're the same. But the main shade I'm using right now is called Sandy for my skin tone. And that's another thing I want to bring up, is that this makeup, especially on the website, the colors are going to look so much darker than they go on your skin. And we also have to remember that when we blend and apply cream makeup, it's not gonna look like these colors. And you saw what I used for my contour, and see the difference. See how dark that contour shade is, and that was called Astoria. And it's not that dark when I put it on my skin. Okay, so we can kind of keep blending a little bit, just tapping. I'm going to go ahead and kind of blend that contour just up into my hairline, make sure there's no harsh lines. Okay, so let's add some brightener around our eye area. And really, brightener, or what you're probably thinking like concealer, right? Hang on, let me grab something real quick. You're probably thinking something like this, right? Like a tube, you get this, and it's about, it's like an ivory or really light skin color, and you're putting that directly underneath your eyes, maybe without doing any color correcting or any makeup beforehand. That kind of helps diffuse some of your discoloration. As we get older, it's really great to still brighten our eye, but if we can avoid layering too much makeup underneath our eye because of this area getting a little bit thinner, more fine lines, a little bit of texture, if we can avoid layering a lot of makeup under there, we're going to be a lot happier, and our eye's going to look a lot more bright and natural. So I'm going to pick up this color, and instead of calling it a concealer, this light shade, I'm calling it like my pop shade. It's like a pop of brightness. I'm going to go back to that smaller brush, and I'm going to just tap in to some of this lighter shade, and I'm going to brighten right on the inside of my eye and kind of down the side of my nose. Now, you can brighten as much or as little as you want. So I kind of have a mid-tone shade. It's probably about 2 shades lighter than my main highlight shade. I'm just kind of tapping. If you're having trouble with that larger brush, then go back to the small end of this brush so that you can just kind of feather that in and soften. So brightening, but I didn't put it right underneath my eye, but I still brightened this area. Another great place you can brighten is, well, right down the bridge of your nose. Okay, and then up into this little, what we like to call the triangle of light. So I'm going to kind of go a little heavy so you can see. So this little triangle of light here that we want to pull forward on our face. So again, just take the brush and pounce and blend. If you get too much makeup, you can, again, use that smaller brush to move it around a bit. Or, and I forgot to prep one of my beauty blenders or perfector sponge. I forgot to get it wet and prepare it, but pretend like this is like damp and wet and I squeezed out all the water. You can then use something like this to press and lift. But you want to make sure that, sorry, I didn't prepare that. So that does help to lift a little bit, but you can also just take and just kind of keep blending. Another place, if you want to brighten, is you could put a little bit on, kind of like in your Cupid's bow, pulling forward on your chin here, if you want to kind of pull forward. And you can also kind of clean up if you needed to, like if you wanted to clean up your contour to kind of help define that a bit more, like that. You can put a little bit right along that contour. Okay. So, oh, and another place you can brighten too is on the outside. So you can brighten kind of in this area, but again, avoiding. Now, if you have really gorgeous laugh lines, you know, those beautiful laugh lines that you have here from just all your great memories, you're not going to put something really bright in there. So come out a little bit. You can still brighten out here on this part of your face, but just don't apply it right on those gorgeous laugh lines that we have. Because again, anything light that we apply to our fine lines and things like that are just going to be emphasized even more. Okay, so I'm just going to take a minute and take this brush with no makeup on and just do a little bit of blending, making sure that it is blended in. Hello, hey Patty. So if you're just joining, my name's Karen. I'm going to try to keep this not too long, but I wanted to do a little mini 3D makeup class today, beginning of a brand new month, just kind of jumping in. If you have questions for me at any time, reach out to me. You can just private message me. And then of course, if you think this is something that's kind of cool and you haven't seen it before, message me and I can get you more information on how to figure out what colors work for you. What we're going to do now is some fun stuff. We are going to add some lip and cheek, which is great because they're also cream. I'm going to take that big brush here and I'm going to just pounce in. I'm not even cleaning in between because all the cream is going to work together to create our foundation. So here's a bit of my contour and I'm going to smile and about 2 finger widths from my nose above my contour, I'm going to tap on some cream blush. This shade here is called Nude. It's really a great matte or a satin shade. So it still has it has a bit more pigment than maybe a glossy shade, but it is cream, which is so great. And it just blends so beautifully. And again, just like everything else, you can build it. So if you like more, you can put more, okay? We also have, you can also use like glossy. This is a glossy lip color called Royal. And sometimes I like to put the glossy lip colors on my lips, but you can also layer glossy over the top of matte shades. So I can put a little bit, if I wanted just a little bit of sheerness over the top of that nude. Okay, and that's Royal, really simple, okay? All right, so when you are done with your main 3D foundation and contouring and a little cheek color, you can do, there's other things you can do. You can add a bit of a shimmery illuminator. This is like that, like your, in the makeup world, they probably call these highlights, but like a shimmery, can you see that? So you can, if you want a little extra shimmer, you can put some of that down your nose. You can put that right up above. You see that little, that extra shimmer you get. You don't have to do this, but it's kind of fun to do that, right? To add a little extra shimmer. And you can add bronzer. So everything is in here in this palette and it's all magnetic. So if I run out of one color or I want to switch things out, I just pop out one tin and pop it back in. Pretty cool, huh? All right. And on the other side, I like to put all of my eyeshadows and some translucent setting powder, a little cleaning tile. So I'm not going to deep dive into doing any eyeshadow today. I just wanted to keep it kind of short. But let's go ahead and set our makeup. So it is cream, which means it sits on top of our skin. So we want to set our makeup with setting spray. Make sure that it's a water-based setting spray. This one is the setting spray that we have. And shake it up really well. You can spray your whole face with it. You can apply it on a prepped beauty blender or perfector sponge that was wet and spray it and dab it on. I like to use a big fluffy brush like this and just spritz the end. You'd be amazed how easy that is. And can you see? And then I just go in and I'm just tapping the setting spray exactly where it needs to go. So I don't get it in my mouth, all over my hair. And then I just let that dry and that'll help set. If you need a little extra setting power or you like to set underneath your eyes, you can put a little translucent setting powder in those areas afterwards. The key is translucent and not the pressed. Again, we want to stay away from kind of the pressed powders. They just tend to get into our fine lines and add some texture and things like that we don't want. We want our makeup to sit on top of our skin and give us that glow. Okay, so I think what I'll do though, just for the heck of it, I am gonna put a little bit of bronzer. This is a bronzer shade, it's called Bella, and I'm gonna use the small end of this brush. I'm gonna put a little bit of that on as an eyeshadow. So I'm just going to bronze just a little bit right in my crease of my eye. I'm gonna close my eye just to get it on my lid, but then just add just a little bit of color. It's such a great, easy way to do that. And I just think this is such a pretty color. Just using a little bit of bronzer, just swiping some of that on, quick and easy. Let's add a little bit more. If I had a smaller brush, it would probably be easier, but I'm just gonna use what I have, right? And then I had already put some mascara on. So thank you so much for stopping in. My name's Karen, and we just did a little mini 3D highlight and contour with my cream 3D foundation. Make sure you message me if it's something that you'd be interested in learning more about. This is a bigger palette, but you can start with any size palette. They're small, medium, larger, and just message me and let me know if I can help in any way. Thanks so much. Talk to you next time.